Okay, what up ladies and gents, it's your favorite Asian robot right here, hopefully one of your favorite official content creators for the First Descendant, and today I'm going to teach you my Ines build, which will help you clear pretty much all of Void Erosion Purge except for Stage 30. For Stage 30, you will need the Serena Malevolent build that I designed for Void Erosion Purge. The build is linked in the video description, so just go there if you need Stage 30. It is even demonstrated on Stage 30. That's still the same stuff, alright? You can literally get that from the video description. In fact, the other day we also have prepared a walkthrough for you guys of every single stage from stage 1 to 29. Alright, the link to this entire stream, which has full timestamps, is in the video description. So if you guys need the walkthrough, video description. Stage 30, video description. Alright, if I see any comments where somebody asks me, so, Asian Robot, what do I do at stage 30? Because you didn't show it at stage 30, I don't know what to do at stage 30. Video description. Okay, right there. I'm sure you guys are intelligent enough, right? Okay, great. Now, this entire stream was done with a walkthrough. I did 1 to 29 in front of a live studio audience. You can see everything for yourself. All the runs are literally there. Okay, so reference that if you are stuck on a particular stage. But what this video is here to do is actually teach you guys the build that you will need for Void Erosion Purge. All right, the build itself is fairly simple. Okay, it's just my Ines build with some very slight modifications. It really is not complex or difficult to apply, but you are going to need to know what to build, all right, and how to build it. That being said, before we begin, as always, I do like to advertise my music, so if you guys don't mind, I'm going to showcase a little bit of that. If you guys do not know, I am currently creating AI music, all right, and I've got a variety of genres, a variety of songs that are coming up every day on my SoundCloud, okay, on my YouTube music channel. All right, we've got a lot going on right now. I'm even a verified artist on Spotify, and you can also catch me on Apple Music and all other major platforms. I am everywhere. So feel free to tune in anytime and enjoy my music. I hope you guys will like it. All right, thank you very much if you decide to give it a chance. Now, let's get into this build so I don't waste any more of your time. I'm going to run through this as quickly as possible, so bear with me and follow along. Everything you need is timestamped. Okay, first and foremost, Reactor. Tech skill, power boost, skill, critical hit damage, get an electric tech reactor. Make sure you have a tactical rifle weapon class mounting. All right, this is going to go with your Secret Garden, which you can see in her hands right here. It's got a skin, but anyway, this is going to go with your Secret Garden because of the unique ability of the Secret Garden. As you guys know, the Secret Garden's unique ability is that when you cast a tech skill, you have a 50% chance of triggering pest control, which gives you skill power per stack, which can then be further multiplied by Ines's electric skill power and all that. You guys should already know how skill power multiplies. I've made those guide videos for you guys, and that hasn't changed because that's all about the math in the game, right? Okay, next, external components. Here's what you are going to need. Plague auxiliary power. You can actually choose to use a plague sensor instead. Sorry, this is some, I did the entire thing with the hunter sensor, but in case you wanted to, did you actually know you can sort of modify this a little bit and pull off something like this? So it's an either or choice, but what you're going to need is a 2 set of plague and a 2 set of hunter. All right, I'm going to restore it to the way it originally was so that you guys can follow along just like before. Sorry, I need to get my plague memory. There it is. Okay, so this is my full set, but anyway, you are going to need a 2 set of plague, all right, because you want her tech skill power boost plus 5%. It's pretty good. The other thing that you want is the hunter set for the minus 4% skill cooldown. That way you don't have to have cooldown on your reactor, and Ines will function just fine. For your auxiliary power, max HP and MP recovery out of combat. For the sensor, max MP, MP recovery in combat would be better, but I happen to have HP recovery modifier here, so I just left that in. For the memory, defense, and shield recovery in combat is excellent. Make sure you turn these into gold rolls. I didn't have gold rolls at the time, so I'm just going to leave it be. And last but not least is the processor. You want max shield, and if possible, shield recovery modifier. You can use this one, okay, shield recovery modifier, and you will do just fine. All right, you don't need the equipment drop rate increase because you're not farming any equipment here. That's it for your reactor and external components. Now, let's talk about your weapon. For your weapon, these are the rolls you are going to need. 2 sprint speed, rank 10 cores are important. The rest is just gravy. the bonus firearm attack versus a particular legion is irrelevant because you do not roll for that in your actual weapon readjustments. Your weapon readjustments are firearm attack, firearm critical hit rate, critical hit damage, and instead of Colossus, please use weak point damage, all right? I never changed the rolls, but those would be the ideal rolls. For the build, I'm still using the old build that I used to use for the Defiler. Okay, this is a pretty inefficient build, but the gun is not important as has been demonstrated in the walkthrough. But if you guys want to copy this loadout, you can. This is exactly what I'm going to use, and you will see that the gun, like I said, is pretty irrelevant. All you really need this gun for is to debuff your enemies, and then you will win purely on skill power. That's why this build is used, because it's so easy to utilize and just win on pure skill power. Okay, now in order to win on skill power, this is what you are going to need for Ines's modules. Time of the Hunting Hounds is a must-have as your Transcendent. Mid-air maneuvering is generally good. All right, this will help you with your grappling and also your air time, which is needed to evade certain monster skills. Nimble Fingers, MP conversion for your cooldowns, that's pretty standard. You will want to also have focus on electric, focus on tech for your cooldowns, pretty standard, also ups your damage. Amplification control and skill expansion are all you will need in terms of range. All right, this maximizes the number of bounces to 7 times. Okay, and it's more than good enough. Then in terms of your crits, you will need emergency measures, front lines, and skill concentration. This gives you maximum amount of crit damage while still being able to achieve nearly 100% crit rate. All right, so that's how we've structured this build. This is how we build it. This is how we absolutely slay. For your Inversion Reinforcer, keep it simple. Remember that what I said in the walkthrough is you've got to change your focus round based on the type of enemy. Since we're doing stage 29, we'll stick to electric focus rounds. Selective neurostimulation and risk mitigation protocol are pretty much standard for this type of thing, because you want the minus 5% damage in the Void Erosion Purge, all right? It just helps you a little bit and helps you survive. Arche tuning, your Ines's Arche tuning is going to look exactly like this. Make sure you guys take note. Now, as I mentioned on the stream itself, you want to go down the right-hand side, grab your skill power, go all the way up, and then grab skill cooldown. You don't have to do it in this particular way, but I did it in this particular way to get a teensy tiny bit more max MP, which helps out Ines's skill critical hit rate by a teeny tiny amount. All right, so that's why I decided on this particular structure for the Arche tuning. All right, now you understand everything. I'm not going to demonstrate all the stages because, again, the walkthrough exists. Guys, please remember there is a link to the entire walkthrough of stage 1 to 29 in the video description. I'm just going to show you stage 29. Let's not waste your time. Let's go. Stage 29. Now, I'm going to do this, okay? Unlike what I did on the stream, I'm going to do this at full power. So please take note that this is how the build will run. If you guys need the coaching, you guys need to see how it's done, go watch the stream with the walkthrough. That'll probably help you out a lot more. I will speak a little bit during this process, but I'm going to mostly concentrate on showing you how it's done, okay? So let's get started and let's get going. It's preparing shaders. I forgot I updated my silly graphics driver, and now it's preparing shaders. Okay, sorry if there's a bit of lag, but even with a bit of lag, I should be able to clear this for you with relatively minimal difficulty. Again, apologies. I completely forgot about this thing happening yesterday, so now we are preparing shaders like some kind of massive nerd. Oh, man. Okay, here we go. So what do you do when things first start? You can no longer shoot from behind boxes, so tag all your enemies. All right, shoot them a little bit with your gun if you have to, but tag all your enemies and then detonate them with your second skill. You should already be very familiar with this from the walkthrough, okay? You don't have enough plasma at the start, so don't worry about it too much. If you die to a warden, that's fine, okay? The wardens can one-shot you, but don't panic. The most important thing is do not panic, all right? It's fine.
This is going to
The wardens are your biggest danger, kind of like the grenadiers, but, you know, even if they present a danger to you, you will actually be able to clear this with more than enough time remaining, so long as you don't die too many times to the wardens. Try to stay up in the air, because that's a great way of surviving. All right, pick up health drops as you go along. Just like that. Tag the enemies and then detonate them with your second skill. All right, your first skill tags, your second skill detonates. Keep going like that and you'll be all right. All right, when do you start using your snare
no
trap?
getting
Once you've
away.
got enough plasma. All right, if you've got an abomination like this, you might want to shoot him a little bit to debuff him, but you know, you might also kill him that way. What I usually do is I'll snare trap like that. I'll stay high in the air, cast my first skill, and then when I'm on the ground, because your second skill goes through walls, terrain, whatever, you can use it to detonate then. All right, so I'll just shoot my little snare trap. All right, tag him a little bit, detonate, and then clear it like that. Now there's an alternative method that's a bit more aggressive, but it's a bit more mana hungry. All right, after you throw your snare trap, you go up high, you detonate in midair, and you stay in midair while casting down. All right, this ensures that by the time you hit the ground, your second detonation is ready, and you can use that to get more damage on them at the cost of more MP. So that's an alternative measure if you'd like. All right. So choose whichever way is more comfortable, and that's how it is. Okay.
Eliminated. My shield. Come now. This is going to sting.
Do be careful of the
Can't escape.
Preds and the Wardens. The Wardens more than Preds.
This is where it ends.
Try to move around toward the left or right. Either way is fine. There's no specific direction. But you cannot take cover behind boxes like before. So you have to adjust your gameplay accordingly, alright? Remember that your second skill, once again, hits through walls. Don't hesitate to use it as an opener if you are okay with the mana cost.
Take this.
Okay, I tend to use the more aggressive methods when farming because it makes things faster. Now, Ines is by no means going to be faster than a specifically built Serena, because we all know how Serena is, but she is still pretty darn good. And if it's your first time doing this and you kind of don't want to build multiple characters or multiple weapons just to overcome this, you can make great use of Ines to farm your first few cores in stage 29. This will help you sort of get the ball rolling with the cores, and although it is a bit slower than Serena, obviously, you can still get a lot of things done.
This is where it ends.
That was a bad cast. The snare trap, unfortunately,
Don't you dare
will
run
strike
away.
enemies or terrain. You don't really want it to do that. You actually want it to be in a nice open space so it can continuously damage opponents, so you can take note of that. Alright? As you can see, I'm just literally casting and diving straight in with my second skill. Okay, this is the ideal method.
Take this.
You've got more than enough range on your second skill, so abuse that. Alright, and remember that because it can go through walls, although your first skill can't, this is one great way. Now, Plaudia, as you guys know, is excessively weak.
Get out of my way.
So you can actually damn near one-shot her just like that with your third skill, which is why a lot of people farm this particular stage. Dodge this major attack of hers, because that'll one-shot you. But if you, after you break her shield, you can just go in like that and, whoop, died. If you do die, unfortunately, that's fine. It does happen. But you can try for the one-shots. All right, it's pretty fast, actually. But if you don't get a one-shot, I guess in a way it's good because I can show you this. If you don't get the one-shot, just do that, and she will die. There you go. Plaudia done. So Plaudia is not a challenge at all. The stage itself is more difficult than Plaudia. And it will take you, on average, about, assuming no deaths, about 5 minutes and 19 seconds to clear this. Now, it's 6 minutes and 19 seconds because I died multiple times. But yeah, about 5 minutes and you can get plenty of cores that you need for actually upgrading your weapons and equipment. So if you cannot farm stage 30 yet, your Serena build's not ready, you can farm stage 29 with an S. There you go. All right, full walkthrough. Like I said, please remember there's an entire stream with a full walkthrough in the video description. I'm saying this so many times because I know somebody's gonna ask. But anyway, this is the video. I hope it helps you guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Normally we thank our top supporters, but I'm having a little bit of trouble pulling that up today, so I do apologize for that. But don't worry, you know who you are because the top supporters are displayed, you know, in the list every stream. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Don't do anything weird while I'm gone, okay? And I'll catch you later.